We're so happy to honor Bob and June Lettieri on behalf of the staff and the board.
Our board exists because of the framework that was laid by the founding board members like Bob Lettieri.
30 years ago, Bob Lettieri was one of the instrumental people in approaching the judges to create a community board as opposed to having the judges run the museum. When the judges ran the board, the problem they had was they were unable to participate in any kind of public activities because it would be a conflict of interest for them as members of the judiciary. So they turned it over to a community board, which is made up of all different segments of the community, from doctors, lawyers, architects.
The years that Bob was working with the Arts Council, Philip Horn, the executive director, had come to Pennsylvania from California with a million ideas for how we could reorganize the Council on the Arts. So Bob was instrumental in making sure that Philip's vision came to fruition.
So they were recognizing the fact that the Everhart was going out of business. They had a governance that was anachronistic. They were the county judges. They couldn't raise money, couldn't promote. The people at the Arts Council, Philip Horn, was there, and Philip was one of the premier art administrators in the country. He really did a wonderful job there at the Pennsylvania Council, and he says, you know, we should get that changed. Is there anything you can do? I said, I guess.
I know Bob was critical to making that transition and doing the kinds of things that really made it possible for the Everhart to flourish. And he'll get his hands dirty. I mean, he'll do the work. He won't just talk about it. He won't just ride in the cart. He'll pull it with you. And I think that's what he did, and that's what he has continued to do.
This is maybe oversimplifying, but we went through, and they said, Bob, there was no committee or anything. He said, Bob, form a board. So I got community leaders, people interested in the arts, and we formed a board, and that was 30 years ago.
I think a museum is really about the community and representing the community and their interests and their the pride they have in place. And so to have a community board means that really on a daily basis we have the voices of those who matter most to us.
The Lackawanna County Arts and Culture Department that was started in 2004 is pretty unique. It is funded through a tax that is solely for arts and culture, and we're the only county in the state of Pennsylvania to have that.
Bob served as a trustee, or I think in this instance, a board member appointed by the governor. So it was a very prestigious role that he had in Pennsylvania, serving the constituents of our Commonwealth as a representative on the board of directors for the Arts Council. Bob was always everywhere. He was a very dedicated council member. And he was also so well versed in many of the art forms that he was the perfect person for the appointment.
He had been one of the original committee that actually started the department in 2004. We're part of that committee that helped lay the groundwork and the infrastructure for when the county implemented the tax that was going to support arts and culture in the county. It was great to have that institutional knowledge from Bob. He was so kind and generous to spend a lot of time educating me about it, answering questions, and I really admired him, especially for his conscientiousness of fiscal responsibility. He really helped shape that foundation of how the council would run and work together and be part of the community, and really assist the department in making sure that we provided the best service to our county.
I just think of them as such an elegant couple. And I know June shared Bob's love for the opera, and they were always going to New York, and then they'd tell me about the particular opera they had seen.
There was always like a certain style that they had, and whether it was dress or artwork or even the way their house was curated or arranged. I didn't even know what the word curation meant back then.
I always thought of him as this really classy man, handsome, debonair. He always looked like he was going to the hunt. And, you know, he was always ready and perfectly coiffed.
It was just always nice to talk to him too. He's just a very personable, fun person who has a passion for life and the arts.
I went to Brown University, and after a trip to Europe with my parents, I was discouraged about my talent after seeing the Sistine Chapel and all those museums. So I didn't involve myself in painting, but I did involve myself in art history and have a degree in art history. And that led me to the Pennsylvania Council on the Arts and the chairmanship for 8 years statewide for the Citizens for the Arts in Pennsylvania.
I got involved with the Junior League. I was president for 2 years in the 70s, a long time ago. And I was president of the Philharmonic Women's League. We did a lot of work with the Philharmonic, trying to fundraise.
One thing that a lot of people don't know about June is that she's a consummate artist in the kitchen. She just makes the most amazing food. She can cook just about any kind of food that you can imagine. But she also is a great mosaic artist. She doesn't talk about it very much, but she's designed this beautiful mosaic that sits in the back of the house in the courtyard.
We had gone hunting up in Canada, moose hunting with a cousin of mine, and he gave me this beautiful plate. And it got knocked off the wall one day and smashed all over the floor. And I thought, oh no, how am I going to put this back together? And that's how I started my mosaic on the back porch, putting the plate back together.
Bob and June are just people of the community, you know, like everybody knows who they are. They just are the kind of people that just get really invested into your life. You know, they collect art, but they also collect people, and they become great friends with the people they collect.
Having this Everhart here is wonderful. I mean, the school children can go at an early age. They take them in groups.
The museum is important because it's a kind of a starter museum. Kids is the first museum I visited. Now we have lots of programs for little kids, and it gets them off on the right foot.
Dr. Everhart's, his vision of what this museum should be is still carried on today, which I think is fabulous that we still have it.
This is a well-deserved tribute to a life of sacrifice and dedication to the arts.
You deserve this honor so much. It's a great distinction.
I've learned so much from them and been inspired by their investment and their advocacy for the arts.
Just immersed in people that are passionate, that are vibrant, and that people know how to live.
Congratulations to Mom and Dad, and love from the West Coast.
And I also thank them for their contributions to the arts here in Northeastern Pennsylvania, and also to the museum, and their contributions in helping to establish a community board here at the Everhart Museum.
You've left a lasting legacy that we are honored to continue.
When I hear all the stories about the past and your passion for that, I think about, well, I need to do that for the museum as well. And I'm going to champion the museum in much the same way you did, and also hope to inspire our team to continue your good works.